Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the top altcoins available on Coinbase. I won't have time to do a video for the Robinhood ones, but there are some I'll talk about here that are available on Robinhood as well on a little mini vacation break this week. So that's why there's not as much content, but next week, I'll get back to putting out the same amount of videos as before. So just starting off with the crypto fear and greed index, you can see here we are back up into extreme greed. And if we zoom in a little bit, yeah, we got up to 90, came down a little bit, but are having a tiny bounce here. So the way I've been looking at this fear and greed chart is one of two possibilities. Recently, when we got up into 90, Bitcoin did make a new all-time high. And the only other two times greed has been up this high is when we had a mid-cycle top or when it was making new all-time highs in 2020 from late 2017 and then reached a high of around 65,000 sometime around March, April of 21. This peak over here, that's when Bitcoin made its all-time high in November of 21 that lasted up until very recently. So I've been taking a look at it one of these two ways. This was that mid-cycle top I'm showing you right here, the 2017 top when we went to 20,000. The data on the fear and greed doesn't go that far back, but here it wicked up to something around, I want to say 14,000. And then December, when greed was spiked, like I just showed you, that was only right here, not up here. You can see the date. That was in April, late March, early April. But in late 2020, when greed was spiking, we were over there. And so you can see, even though it spiked there, we still had some corrections that caused a lot of fear to flash into the markets. And the true high was still coming later. So I do want to see greed stay up here, somewhat accumulate up here to show that Bitcoin's going higher. Now, if you're waiting for me to get to the altcoins, I'm getting there in a minute. This is important because the way Bitcoin goes is really the way that altcoins go the last two cycles. So if you have dollar cost average into your favorite altcoins and you're waiting for them to run, Bitcoin going higher does help that. So here you can see just in late 2017 how much Bitcoin ripped up so fast and here in 2021. So I'm wondering if, because we've made new all-time highs, if we are going to get there, or I don't know, maybe it's something different and we come down before coming back up again a bit later. Who knows? But here are the double top, or is the double top that we had from last time. Again, December of 2020, you can see at the bottom here, was here. April is over here. Now look at the price. We got up to the high 50s. It was settling in it, and it came back down to the mid 30s. And before, with Bitcoin, when it had that single peak in 2017, it eventually tanked to 3,500. Now, something important to note with altcoins, if you've been spending time in the market and getting into some altcoins early when the price action has looked good and when you could find good value, the true alt season isn't here yet, I believe. So this is the alt season macro chart. When it spikes up here, that's when they start going. So you can see here, September 2020, that was before new all-time highs were broken. There was a little mini alt season in there. And then you can see here, March and April, that's truly when most of the alts I knew and some I held just went off. Now, there was some that went off later, not a lot of them, though, that at least I saw or was looking into. So do keep that in mind. If we are to get somewhat of a double top, some alts might peak early and then fall off to later. Some might peak later. So set your price targets. Make sure you have an exit plan and some exit targets, at least to take a percentage out. But last thing before we get into the alts on Coinbase, Something to watch is Bitcoin dominance, because right now in the crypto market, 54.16% of all money is in Bitcoin. Look at the data at the bottom. When the dominance crashes like this, I remember January 8th very specifically, when it crashes in this 2 to 6 week span, that's when many altcoins just go parabolic out of nowhere. The money that's in Bitcoin rotates into altcoins. Same thing happened in 2021. Look at this. March 21, April, May, and then mid-May, that's when Bitcoin had the sell-off. So right now, Bitcoin dominance, it is forming this flag pattern that looks like it wants to go up. I would think somewhere around 58 at its max, we would see. And then if it just starts dumping really hard to the low 40 percentile, me personally, not financial advice, but me personally, I'd be looking to take profits. Now, again, there were some altcoins that did top later in November 21. So if you were holding on and you waited until Bitcoin dominance at another little mini dump, you could have, but many just went down like 80% in this time. So it's a risk if you hold on after Bitcoin dominance crashes. Let's start by looking at the altcoins. First, at Ethereum. And for any of these altcoins that are above their moving averages, hold on one second. I was holding back a sneeze and I think I kept it at bay. For any that are above their moving averages, we can take that off and look at something else like the MACD or the relative strength index to see if we notice anything. So I do like seeing that the relative strength is staying up. It is still moving higher. We haven't had any sort of bearish divergence yet where the strength is going down while the price is going up. So in my opinion, I still see macro-wise that it can move up higher. There is one area of concern for me though, just looking at this chart. You notice here as Ethereum was going up really high in price and it got to this fib level, the 382, and as it was going up really high in price with no red whatsoever over all this time, when it did finally have some red, what's important to see here is that it broke through. And when we have movements like this, strong movements up with a little correction, you don't want to see a double top because then it can come back down pretty good. So right here, we've had a little correction. I want to see this get back up and through this fib line, which wouldn't be too far off from the all-time high. So that'd be around that 40.20 price level at the 786. I would like to see Ethereum get through there. Now, one thing you may also notice is this 10-week moving average here, that as it came down to it, we got that weekly buy signal, and that was the bounce it needed. So it is possible, as we're having this little correction here, that maybe Ethereum comes down to somewhere around where this 10-week moving average is, maybe the low 3,000s, and then shoots up. I would like to see that. However, if we don't get back through this at all, then I'd be worried about it going down further. If we take a look at the daily, you can see here we had a pretty decent daily sell-off to the next lower fib level. Got some good structure, a bounce off there, off that fib support. So that's looking good. But again, I want to see this. I want to see Ethereum break through that 4,000 level. And if it doesn't, I'd be a little bit concerned. So that's what I got for Ethereum. Next, let's take a look at Doge. I think I saw Doge got up to 20 cents yesterday. Let's take a look on the 30-minute chart here. Yeah, I got to 22.5 cents. Right now, hanging out at around 21.5. Excuse me. Right above that 0.5 fib level. So that's good. Let's zoom out on the weekly. And yeah, this thing has just been straight bullish. Now, remember what I showed you about that correction. Here we had that long-legged doji. Maybe some minor corrections on the daily, but this thing's going just up straight bonkers. And yeah, right now this is looking good. And, Doge, as far as price targets, look, here's my thoughts, and it's sometimes not so popular. Is something to be wary of with altcoins from past cycles is, yes, they can make new all-time highs, and I'll show you some targets there. However, there are some that don't. And so my personal opinion, it's not a bad idea to at least take some profits as we get up to the 618, 786 levels, just in case. Now, Doge, when it got to these prior all-time highs, it had a market cap something like around 100 billion. Actually, I'm curious what its market cap is right now. It's at 30 billion right now, a little over 30 billion. So if it did a 3x and got to 66 cents, something around there, then yeah, it's at 90 billion. So for Doge to go above its prior all-time high, something that you can look for, I like taking this off log as we look for the higher time frames. Let's set this on automatic. There we go. Or higher time frames, higher prices, is you can see here the 1618 at a $1.16. That would be a target I would be watching like a hawk. In my opinion, when these altcoins are getting above 100 billion, it's hard to say how much higher it truly go. For any altcoin outside of Ethereum, my opinion, things like Solana, Doge, Link, 500 billion is like my best case scenario target. And even saying that out loud, I kind of question it. So do make sure you calculate the market cap conversion. So for example, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is super important to know because there's a lot of YouTubers out there, they just throw around price predictions and have zero idea what market cap is. So if Doge got to a $1.16, we're going to take that number. I have my calculator out on my phone, a $1.16, and you divide it by the price, which is 0.216. We can just go to 3 places there. So that is a 5.37x. Now with its market cap of 31 billion, you just multiply 5.37 times 31. That gives us a market cap of $166.5 billion. Could it get there? Sure, maybe. Will it stay there? I doubt it. So if the price of Doge is getting up near those levels, I would seriously consider thinking about taking profits. Could it go higher? Sure, maybe. Why not? But just that to me is, if Doge gets really stupid, crazy, that to me is a price target to be looking for. Let's move on to Link. So Link, let's zoom out to the weekly. And what do we see here on Link? You notice that we had a nice bounce off that 20-week moving average, and this is held true before. When we had accumulation, as it got under that 10-week moving average, that blue line, as it got closer to the 20-week, boom, it shot up. And sometimes these altcoins, they need to get close to there before they have a major move up or down. This little doji, that does make me nervous. I don't see as much confirmation to the upside with a candle like that. So it is good. We do have a buy signal. Something to notice though on the RSI is we do have bearish divergence. Lower peaks in the RSI and higher price action. So maybe it comes back down to 16.4 for Link as a possible entry or price target. But if it broke below this 0.5, I would be very worried. And from there, you could add on some moving averages. And where are they? Here we go. You can add some moving averages. And as you can see, if it broke below the 0.5 in that 20-week moving average, what's next? The 50-week is all the way down here. Maybe by the time it catches up, it might be in line with this structure. That would be good. But then otherwise, we go down to this next fib at around 12. And the 100 moving average, or I don't know if you can see it, the 200 moving average right there. Let's brighten this bad boy up. So the 200 right down there. But that's like max bearish scenario. Again, watch this 50 like a hawk. If it gets underneath there, then, or the 20 like a hawk. If it gets underneath there, maybe the 50 will match some structure here. And if not, this next fib level at around the 100, and that's right around 12. I'm not saying it is going to get there, but if things got bad, that's how you could look for some possible re-entries. Again, though, don't just buy when things are red and falling. Do wait for some confirmation. You can set yourself up or add on some buy signal indicators. There's a couple I use. This is one of them, the 1020 MA. This is more of a front running indicator. A lagging confirming indicator you can also use is UT bot alerts. That one is good as well if you're willing to be more patient. I like using that one with stocks. So at least wait for confirmation on a larger time frame, such as the weekly, in order to get back in. Next, let's take a look at AVAX. So with AVAX, this is looking pretty good. It's above its moving averages, and it just recently got above a higher fib. So again, right here, bearish divergence, so something to keep an eye on, and this fib level of 49.70. So if there was any weakness, which there is on the daily, that's something you could watch for. And you can see daily we had a sell signal, and on the daily 20 moving average, right now the body of the candle staying above it, but if it gets below this 49.68 would have to hold, otherwise it's going lower. I'm going to try to fly through these quicker. Sometimes I get talking. I apologize. I recognize the problem. I'm trying to be better. Next, Ripple, XRP. XRP to 10K, as so many people on YouTube love to say. Not going to happen. So XP right now, it's at the 382, at a little bit over that 59.60 cent mark going to the daily. You can see, man, we're just ranging between these fibs here, but it does seem to be settling in here. So XRP, I don't hate XRP. This might be a decent time to dollar cost average in. If you do like XRP, I do like seeing these higher lows overall. So we did get this daily buy signal all the way down here, or the weekly buy signal at the low 50 cent range. Right now it's sort of pausing out. So maybe we get a sell signal and some accumulation like we did here before blasting off, or some accumulation before coming down. So again, at the very least, you could try to wait for some confirmation, some buy signals, but do know sometimes it's not 100% correct. We can go lower. And friendly reminder, technical analysis is not everything, and you shouldn't base your investment strategies purely off TA. Anything can happen, things out of our control. So just try to increase your time in the market, dollar cost average in when things are good, and above all, do your own research. Make sure whatever you put your hard-earned money into is something you like and believe in, and with stocks, even use. Next, let's take a look at Solana. That is not the one with my, there we go, with my fib. There we are with Solana. So Solana, kind of like I was talking about with AVAX, looking pretty good. We do have some minor bearish divergence here, higher in the price, lower, a little bit lower in the strength, but again, this can still keep going much higher. Notice how Solana got to that 10 moving average before shooting up again. So maybe it's just going to go sideways a bit. And kind of like I was talking about with Ethereum before, when we go up and we're green for a very short period of time and we go up an insane amount, look at this, just from like 20 to a little over 100. When we do have that correction, you want to see it then bust her again in order to have a nice strong move. When it doesn't, then, so you can see right here, nice strong move, not as good of an example. But if it doesn't and it comes back up, kind of tests and gets rejected, things can be bad, at least for the short, medium term time frame. So just something to keep in mind. Solana, it's at 186, market cap of 83. So if you're looking at some possible price targets of, I don't know, Solana to, I've seen people talk about Solana to 1,000. That's about like, what, a 5 or 6x. So do know 5 times 80, that's a little over 400 billion. And if we take this fib, take it off log, kind of look at some of those extensions that are up a bit higher. So Solana, there's a fib level up there. We have 921 and 1077, some possible price targets if it were to get that high. Now again, any altcoin not Ethereum getting over 400 billion, that is absolute best case scenario. I would personally pick something like Solana, Link, maybe Doge for some reason to get up that high. But yeah, I think it's risky believing that an altcoin's going to stay there. So set your price targets. Here are some targets to look for: 416, 668, 921, 1077. Maybe you can exit out a certain percentage. And if it doesn't get to a higher amount and then comes back down, then you can pull the rest of your profits. That's one way to go about it. Next, let's take a look at Cardano. We have Cardano, MATIC, DOT, and ICP. So Cardano, you can see here, again, bearish divergence, RSI. It's coming down to the 10 weekly moving average, had this sell signal, and we have structure, 10-week moving average, fib support right at that 60-cent level. That would be my guess of where we go to. Last time it did get under that 10-week, as it got closer to 20, boom, that's when it shot up. So to me, I would be watching the 60-cent range, see if we get a turnaround on the weekly, a buy signal, and then, hey, if you like Cardano, sure, why not? Curious, what's Cardano's market cap? 23 billion. So again, do your calculations, market cap based on that. Don't believe when people are saying, Cardano to 600 and things like that. Oftentimes it makes the market cap completely ridiculous and higher than any stock like Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, etc. So don't buy into the BS. Next, let's take a look at MATIC. So MATIC, weekly sell signal, fib support, structure, and the 10-week moving average. So watch for this 96.7 cent level to get down to there. And as you can see, when MATIC got to the 20, we had a nice bounce. So if we get here and don't get a nice bounce and get up to this next fib above the 0.5, which one is that? That is a 618, of course. If we don't get a nice bounce and then get above this to the 618, then I'd be worried about a possible bearish downturn, maybe before bouncing back up. But we'll approach that when we get there. But for the short term, watch for 96 cents and hopefully a buy signal on the turnaround. DOT. Okay, so DOT, we don't have a weekly sell signal yet, which is surprising. We have these long-legged skinny dojis right here. Maybe it can come down to this 10 MA around 8.4, somewhere like that. Let's take a look at the daily time frame. So daily time frame, we had a little bit of a buy, and then it hit the 20 daily moving average as resistance, and now it's kind of stuck between the moving averages. So maybe it's going to start, maybe this is just a higher low and it's going to start going up again. The RSI overall, it is curling down, but inversely, you could also say that maybe the bottoms are forming an upward trend. So if it were to all of a sudden turn around, hey, I'm just trying to give both perspectives, not be biased here. But do watch that 10-week moving average. I would not be buying MATIC right now until I had confirmation. If you got some MATIC back here or in here, awesome. But yeah, I'd wait to see what it does first. Otherwise, I think you're taking a risk. Last one, let's take a look at ICP. And guys, if you have any altcoins or stocks you want me to take a look at, because I do stock videos and altcoin videos, if it's available on Robinhood or Coinbase, I'll take a look at it. ICP, we had a buy signal, and we've had some slow grinding up, upward trending accumulation. I do like this because it's, especially with stocks, when something's slowly going up, you don't typically want to short that or or bet against it. So ICP, it's finally starting to move. Got up to this $20 level right on that fib before coming down a little bit. So I do want to see ICP get through that 382 and close above 21. Right now, you could say the RSI has some bearish divergence. However, this is still moving upwards. And yeah, ICP, as far as price targets, I mean, this is a hard one to take a look at chart wise, because it did come out right when we were making the all-time highs in the last cycle. And I try to tell people all the altcoins that I know of, or even Bitcoin miners that come out after Bitcoin has just made a new all-time high, I've always seen those turn into gigantic falling knives. Not that they can't do good in the next cycle, but if this were a brand new coin that came out right now after the all-time high, I wouldn't be touching it. And so here, I just drew this fib from the first sell signal that came up. Maybe it gets there, maybe not. If we go to the daily and go back, I'm wondering if I can get a better showing right there. Where would that put us? Yeah, I kind of liked where it was before, because our recent price action matched that fib level real nicely, as you can see here. So maybe I drew the fib right. This is a hard one to draw because it wasn't truly this high at around 3,000. It just wasn't. The market cap wouldn't make any sense, and you can do the math on that. But right now it's got an 8 billion market cap. So again, if you took 3,000, I'm just going to do this anyways for fun. If you took 3,000, if you truly believed it was at that level and divide it by 17.6, that's 170.5 times 8 billion. So that would put it at a 1.36 trillion market cap, which just wasn't true for any altcoin. Yeah, internet computer, maybe you could take a look at market cap as some possible price predictions. I've seen the number 400 get thrown around a lot with internet computer. So 400, that would be around just a little bit under 23x. And if you take that and multiply it times, let's just do 8.1 billion, that would be around 184 billion market cap. Sure, why not? So 400, 200, some possible price points. Again, if this got to the 786, I would be hard pressed not to take some profits there, just because the market cap would be getting so dang high. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you are all having a fantastic week. Again, next week I'll be putting out more videos, more content, just on a little mini vacation break this week. And yeah, taking a step away from charting and everything. And guys, I think that's important for all of us. If you find yourself obsessing over your stocks, crypto, that's a sign you need to take a break. You don't want to be emotionally tied to the price action of these assets. Part of my goal here on this channel is to try to make investing into stocks or crypto as easy and stress-free as possible. Now, I say that hesitantly because there's always more research you can do. There's always more you can learn. But to try, after you do your research, to try to simplify it and dumb it down, if you will, in a way that's enjoyable. So if you're new to crypto, look up 3 or 4 crypto assets, find 3 or 4 that you really like, that you really believe in. And I hope some of the charting are things that can help you possibly find some bigger value. Now, again, if you're brand new, I'm going to tell you, be extremely cautious. We have high greed. We are at new levels of all-time highs. You don't want to buy things when we're getting in new levels of all-time highs or are already at a yearly all-time high. Time in the market's more important than timing the market. And if you are getting in now, you are taking pretty much an educated gamble at best. So do be careful with your hard-earned money. There's plenty of stocks and cryptos in the sea. You don't have to chase. You can be patient and let the market come to you. And there's plenty of options to look for, stocks and crypto. So with all that being said, take care. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.